Today I want to share with you 10 unique ways, things you probably haven't heard of or thought of to save money at the grocery store. Now, I get a lot of comments and questions on my YouTube throughout the week, pretty much every week, on do you really save that much money at the grocery store? Do you really? I get a lot of those questions. So today I'm going to answer that, and I'm going to show you my secrets to success and how I do it. So number one on my list is that I shop a lot of discount stores. I have no problem going to discount stores to buy dented cans or things that may be slightly expired. And I have done videos on that. I'll link some of these in the description below, but I have no problem. You can get a lot of really good things at a great discount, at a great bargain, and I add those to my repertoire every single month. Number two on my list is that I don't really buy hardly any vegetables, and I buy zero fruit in the summer. Let me show you why. So this is my vegetable garden. I'm fortunate enough to have a really prolific garden. I've got lots of little cherry tomatoes in there. I've got peppers and onions, green beans, squash, pumpkins, you name it, I have it in this garden. Now this garden, I have to start really early because it gets very hot where I live very quickly. And so my garden's pretty much done by mid-August. So I have about another month, but I get a lot of my things out of the garden. We eat fresh all summer. And then I also, dehydrate, freeze, and can for things that we use all year. And the reason I don't buy fruit all summer, as you can see, is because I have a lot of fruit. I actually have way more fruit than I can eat or save for another day. So a lot of it I end up giving away. So these are some white peaches that are starting to get ripe on my tree. These are really delicious. These don't can very well, but they do freeze really well. And so I save a lot of these. I cut them up and make them into smoothies. I've got some Alberta peaches over here that are just starting to ripen up. I haven't really had any of those yet. I figure it's probably another couple weeks. Got some pixie peaches that are just starting to ripen on the vine here. And it's hard to see them because they really kind of hide under these bushes, but I get a lot of fruit off this little itty bitty miniature tree. This is a persimmon tree that I have. It's got a ton of persimmons on it this year. And so these are they're kind of hiding because these are a dark green, but by October, November, these will all be bright orange and they'll be really delicious. These are a few white nectarines that I have left on this tree. We've been enjoying these, and now I've got the orange nectarines that are starting to ripen. These are my European plums. I've just got so many, and I cut this tree way back, but it didn't affect my plum production. I still have a ton of plums. This is an apple tree that I have growing. It always does really well every year around, I guess it's around September, October, those start ripening. And I've got an herb garden here. I've got oregano, I've got thyme, I've got mint, I've got parsley. A lot of this now is bee season because I've let a lot of this go to seed, but I usually cut it back at the end of the summer, and then I have brand new all year. Here's some tomatoes that I canned and pickled yesterday. Here are zucchini and squash. I usually make those into different kinds of air fryer zucchini, zucchini cake, zucchini bread, zucchini relish, and then I have tons of shredded zucchini out in the freezer. Here I've got some fresh peaches. These are those white ones that I was telling you about that I had off of my white peach tree. I've got a little bit of zucchini bread that the grandkids haven't finished off. I make my own teas. So those are some of the things I do as far as my gardening and my fruit trees that really help me not have to even buy a lot of that stuff in the summer. In fact, I'm usually the one giving it away. So that's a huge help to my pocketbook. So these are some herbs that I have dehydrated. I mixed a little bit of garlic powder with it. I've got rosemary, basil, mint, and oregano in this container. These are all from my herb garden. I use this in a lot of my seasonings at home. I take the time to dehydrate basil that I'm not using all the fresh. I have my Thai basil. I actually repurpose prescription bottles. I clean them out. I have oregano in here. These are all dehydrated herbs. I make my own apple pie spice. I have celery salt that I made from scratch. And the other thing I do, it's a big savings. All these little things add up. But I buy from there's a Hispanic section of the grocery store that usually sells herbs and things for like 99 cents a packet. They're very inexpensive. I'll take those and I'll repackage them into older bottles that I have. So this was some Mexican oregano. It's a little bit different than the oregano that I have and I grow at home. So I have a couple different kinds of oregano. Another thing I do is that I make my vanilla, homemade vanilla from scratch. Now, I buy this vodka. I get the Madagascar vanilla beans through Amazon. I buy those and I always have fresh vanilla. And all I do is just fill it up, put it in the cupboard. I mean, I never buy vanilla. And you know how expensive real vanilla extract is. It's very expensive. So this is a great way to use up these different items and really save a lot of money. Now, when I'm done with the vanilla beans, I actually will put some of these back in my newer one because the vodka will pickle them. But I take some of those then, I open them up and I put them in with my sugar and it makes the best sugar. I love the smell of vanilla beans in sugar. So nothing goes to waste here. This is all stuff that I'm able to use. Number 4 on my list is that I try to think of ways to use the items I would normally throw out. For example, this morning I made some bacon. I actually saved the bacon grease. It's all filtered. There's no little bits or pieces in it. I just put it in a little used mason jar. And as soon as it's completely cooled, I'll put it in the refrigerator and it'll harden. I can use that to cook with and it tastes delicious. Another example is I don't usually buy rotisserie chickens. If I can make them or I find them on sale, I'll cook them and do all that myself. But I had a party a few weeks ago. Someone came to the party. They took a few little slices off the rotisserie chicken, and when they left, I said, well, here, take your rotisserie chicken. No, just throw it in the trash. Throw it in the trash. So I picked all the chicken off the bones, put it in some vacuum sealed containers. I have 3 nights worth of chicken. On top of that, I saved the bones, the whole carcass, so that when I'm ready to make chicken stock, I'm gonna be able to can that up and have that for many, many nights. Soup and stews and casseroles and all kinds of things. So waste not, want not. Number 5 on my list, it seems like a no-brainer, but oftentimes, even when I'm busy, I don't do it every single time I go to the grocery store, but make a list, make a menu plan. I make up a menu plan every week. Today's Saturday, and I will be writing down all the different things that I want to have for dinner. And then I will make a list of everything that I need. I'll take this with me to the grocery store. And then when I get back tomorrow, that goes on my refrigerator for the week. And I don't buy things that aren't on my list unless it's something that I needed for a recipe that maybe I forgot to put on my list. If you buy it just haphazardly, you go into the store starving and you're picking up this and that and this and that, oftentimes you can get home and not even have anything to put together for a meal and you've spent $200. But if you can stick to your list and you can only think of, okay, these are the things I need this week, don't buy extra. Oftentimes that's the stuff that goes to the landfill. Eat what you buy and you'll be shocked how much better you're gonna love your grocery bill. Number 6 on my list is make it interesting. Oh my gosh, you don't have to eat the same old icky food all the time that you just, bake in the oven. I mean, I use my oven, I use my crock pot, I use my stove, I use my pressure canner. I just bought a hot pot on Amazon for Prime Deal days, and I'm so excited to try it. I love any kind of Asian food, and this is going to be so good. I'm so excited to try it, and hopefully if I get some of the vegetables that I need for this tomorrow night, I'm going to try to do hot pot tomorrow night. But whenever I do, I decided I'm going to make a video of it and show you exactly how it comes out and how easy it is. So should be fun. So make it interesting. Use your cookbooks. Use the different things that are going to help you. I have a whole bunch of cookbooks here. I'm in them all the time trying to look for recipes, and I print out different recipes of my own off the internet, and I'm always trying to think of things that are going to be delicious and interesting. I also have something that my son built for me. This used to be an old coat closet. And I have so many little handy appliances that I use all the time. I've got my stock pots up there, my canning pots. I've got different kinds of things that grind up the food, crock pots, air fryers, you name it, a bread maker. I just have all kinds of good stuff down there. And I use this all the time. I put it right next to my kitchen, so it's extremely convenient. And I make most of my food from scratch. Number 7 on my list is shop from your home first. I think it's important to have a well-stocked pantry. So not only do I have my canned goods, I also have things that I've bought from the grocery store. So I always have things on hand when I need to go shopping first. So tomorrow, before I go to the grocery store, I make my list, I make my menu plan, then I shop at home. I make sure whatever I have that I can use, I go through that first. Now this is going to be hard, but I'm going to show you my pantry. It's kind of a mess, but you're going to see what I'm talking about. So I have all kinds of canned goods, olives, green beans, all kinds of things that I find on sale. I've got some prepackaged type foods. I've got salts and different kinds of flours, oils. I've got all of my home packaged cornmeal. I buy a lot of things in bulk, so I try to make sure that I always keep those things separate so that they're, in good shape when I need them. And I have so much stuff that just really makes it easy for me to, cook from home. I'm not running out of a lot of stuff, and I don't buy this stuff every week. A lot of times it's stuff that I just pick up when I see these sales or things like that. I have some more canned goods in my laundry room. I try to make sure that I use up all the canned goods that I have. I've got some sauerkrauts down below. I have a really well-stocked freezer. A lot of this is things that I've, done from my garden. These are some packages of zucchini. I've got different kinds of meals, carrots. Most of this is from my garden, actually. But I've got tons of tomato sauce, fresh rhubarb that I've picked and cleaned. Whenever I have lemons or limes that are gonna, I'm not gonna use them up, I try to juice them and put them into ice cube trays. And I just try to make sure that I always have extra things that I can prepare and look for in my freezer. I even go through and make tons of guacamole for the whole year. I thaw it out, and I've always got guacamole on hand. This is another freezer here, more guacamole. Holy guacamole. I've just got all kinds of good stuff in here. And a lot of this is, like I said, it's just stuff from my garden. These are some peppers. I've got bananas. That's all ready for banana bread. I've got lots of this delicious peach salsa. I'm going to make some more of that this year. Number 8 is eat smaller portions. You don't have to have tons and tons and tons of big meals. You can eat smaller portions, find things that you have available in your pantry, your freezer, your garden, your trees Then go to the grocery store, make up your meals, make portions that'll satisfy you, but you don't have to fill up that much. Number 9 on my list is substitute. Don't be afraid to substitute. If you've got bacon grease instead of butter, use it. If you want to use a peach instead of an apricot, use it. There's all kinds of things you can do to substitute. And if you have those things on hand at home, maybe it'll save you from having to buy those things at the store. And 10 on my list is coffee. That's an important one for me because I love a good cup of coffee and I refuse to go buy expensive coffee at the store. So let me show you my secret to saving money. Now, I had an initial investment of buying an espresso coffee maker, but let me show you the secret of what I do with the pods. So this is the Nespresso coffee maker. The pods are very expensive. They are like $30, something like that for like 30 of those pods. So I found a way to make them for pennies. So what I do is I take these used pods, I clean them out, I take the foil off, I clean them out, I save the coffee for my garden, and then after they're dry, I take one of these little foil labels. I buy these in a package of like 200. They're like $7 or something. And then I have this little tool that I bought. It was very inexpensive. You put the pod in this little cup. You put the coffee inside the pod. You put the little silver top on it. And then it has this little tool. You just kind of bend it down over the coffee and tamp it, and it just makes these pods. And these are so expensive, like 30 of these, a month's supply is like $30. They're like $1 a pod. And I literally can do these for pennies. So I can enjoy this delicious cup of coffee or espresso or whatever it is I'm making. And believe me, it's not like regular coffee. It is delicious. So that's the secret to my coffee. I guess I would consider myself a coffee snob, but I'm also a cheapskate. So I refuse to pay the prices at those expensive coffee houses when I can make something that's just as good here for pennies on the dollar. So that's some of the ideas that are somewhat unique, I think. I really try to go out of my way to think of ways to cut down the bill. So yes, sometimes I have to buy flour or sugar or what have you. But even then, I have a grocery store that I go to in Southern California that sells all of that in bulk. I go to a store called Winco Foods. They have an amazing bulk section. I get all kinds of popcorn. I mean, the flour I think is 58 cents a pound. Sometimes it's 38 cents a pound. It's ridiculous. I don't know how they could sell it that cheap. So those are the things I do to keep my grocery bill down. So it's the truth. You saw it with your own eyes. I hope some of those are helpful to you. I hope if you're struggling on a budget, you'll try to think outside the box. There's so many amazing people on YouTube, Google, ChatGPT, all kinds of places where you can get ideas to save money. This is a big one. My husband actually counsels people on their debt and things like that. And he said that one of the biggest ways that people waste their money every single month is at the grocery store. And with the prices of food the way they are, if you're not thinking outside the box, it's easy to do. I don't think it's that people are, not thinking about it. I think sometimes they're just not aware of the things they can do to save the money. So that's it for me today. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. Give me a like, a thumbs up, or ring that bell for future notifications, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.